So pretty much in a nutshell, as far as the feeds are concerned, Paul and James and Natalie had some words where Paul pretty much called out Natalie, said that she's not perfect, said that she was picking on people, that she slapped him on the butt and he didn't like it, which is basically to fight back on Natalie's allegation that he slapped her on the butt, and Paul was just like, I didn't do it. Paul said that Natalie has put on this innocent act and she's not really innocent, and she said it herself. She said that all of this is a part of her strategy and that she flipped a switch and now she's not playing that way anymore. Now, James was trying to play knight in shining armor throughout this argument, and all I can say about James is this: he's not used to a season where people are actually playing the game. So every time he said something, it just seemed like he was just scrambling, like he couldn't think of really much to say in response to Paul. Paul revealed that Corey made a comment about Natalie, stating that Natalie was blowing her way to the top. In other words, she was doing stuff with James just to make it to the end, which is pretty hypocritical coming from Corey. And yes, it did come from Corey, despite the fact that he said that it did not. Victor popped out during this argument and started talking about how he was upset that Paul didn't campaign for him and that Paul abandoned ship once Victor won, or Paul won the veto. I was about to say Victor won the veto because he has won the veto, but Paul won the veto. And I'm just like, why is he saying this? And then Victor's upset that Paul didn't campaign more, didn't go to James and tell James that it's not a good idea for Victor to go. And I'm like, none of this makes any sense at all. I'm like, why is he saying this? Why doesn't this sound real at all? And then Paul reveals that there was an alliance, kind of, for like a good couple seconds, between himself, Victor, Natalie, Michelle, James, I think Bridget was a part of it. And their plan was to get out Paulie, Nicole, and Corey, of which James was trying to act like he didn't know what Paul was talking about. And I'm just like, dude, you are doing the worst job of saving face. And James was trying to say, and I think it was also Natalie as well. Well, one of those two said it because everything was going so fast in the conversation, and I was just like, what is going on and how is this going to affect tonight's episode? But anyway, I believe it might have been James who said Paul tried to save face by having a conversation and laughing it up with Corey and Nicole. And basically what happened was that the rumor is that Paul said that the house wanted Nicole out and Paul only wanted Corey out. And I'm just like, now where did this come from? And Paul revealed strategically it wouldn't look good to put Nicole up anyway. And I'm just like, whoa, oh my goodness, what is going on? But Paul makes it clear that he's not Paulie. He's not going to crack under pressure. He's not going to feed into the drama. Like, no, you guys can't manipulate him. And Paul made it clear that he's on to Natalie and James. He knows that they are working together as a package deal, despite the fact that they were saying they weren't. And I'm just like, yeah, you guys definitely are. But you know, people have to save face, so let's see what else. Paul tried to ask Natalie if he was her target, and she kept trying to avoid the conversation. And when she did speak on the subject, she kept circumventing his questions and really didn't answer them, and it just made her look bad. She became very upset during the conversation. She became defensive, as most people do in arguments, but it seemed very out of character, and it got to a point where as she was trying to make it seem like Paul was attacking her, and Paul's just like, that's what you always do. Anytime anyone says anything to you, they're attacking you, and just became this whole big back and forth type situation. Paul called himself a lone wolf, and I'm just like, these house guests need to watch out for him, because some of these lone wolves in previous seasons won the entire season, so watch out. They won that 500K. Natalie's in the room with Michelle and James. I think Victor is in there, and she says Paul is full of crap, and she begs James to vote Corey out because Corey is possibly working with Paul and obviously Nicole, and they're probably going to try to get out Victor. And I'm just like, why would Paul get out Victor if Paul couldn't even cast a vote to evict Victor? It doesn't make any sense. But again, I'm outside here, they're inside. I'm thinking critically, but in a situation like that, your mind is just doing this. Natalie says that Paul is not smarter than her. I'm like, Paul was able to get her to question her choice to put him on the block, despite the fact that she said that he was the threat. Paul and Victor came up with this whole idea to start this argument just to make sure that Victor stays in the house and Corey goes. Paul's pretty smart. He definitely is. Let me see. As I was watching the argument unfold, I was saying to myself, Paul and Victor have to be playing these people. Like, there's no way that they're this mad at each other. Like, what is going on? And lo and behold, it's true. Those two came up with a plan, and it just put Natalie in a very bad situation. It blew up her game, and she's a target for both sides at this point, especially since she cannot play in the HOH competition tonight. And neither can Big Meech, but mostly Natalie, unless, of course, the rules change, because tonight is supposed to consist of another Big Brother buyback competition. But still. So, when I come back to the feeds, because I had to walk away for a bit because that fight was becoming crazy, and it was just like a back and forth thing. And then after I heard the conversation that was happening between Big Meech and Natalie and James, and Victor was in and out of the room. Victor was acting like he was trying to kind of talk Paul down off the ledge and try to convince Paul that he's on Paul's side. I clicked onto the feed that showed Victor and Paul in the room talking, and it revealed that yes, all of this was a plan. Victor said that Michelle, Natalie, and James are convinced that Paul is working with Nicole and Corey. Victor says that James is scared that Paul's going to vote him out. At this point, I'm just like, I am ready for the 9 o'clock show, because it is going to be memorable. It's definitely going to go down in the Big Brother history books, but I had to do this video before I did my review because I had to explain all of this to you so you understand what is about to happen. And I'm finishing this video at like 7:41, so I love you guys. Take care until my review at, I believe I will start filming it at 10 o'clock. I love you guys. Bye, guys. Bye.